there's this effect, and I've always liked it, and I'm going to build a website to do it. So come do it with me. First, I had to set up the beautiful program VS Code after at least a year of only using Xcode to work on random projects like building apps and stuff like that. So it feels good to be back. The bulk of the creative work is me making my sketchy handwriting designs that I want and then guiding website design from Claude AI. So I started the long-ass process of hand drawing every letter on Photoshop through my iPad a bunch of times, and then choosing my 3 favorite letters to download to my assets folder for the site. Now, as I go through the process of making these fonts, I honestly got way more efficient at my workflow. Like, I was manually exporting each letter individually to a new workspace of the right dimensions, whereas I can make them all on one document. And there's just a bunch of different things that I switch as I continue through this process. But yeah, this took forever. And I also reached the limit for using Gemini already because it was completely lost. And that's when I switched over to Claude Code.
Boil this, bruh.
This is my site.
Totally
What
shit.
should we boil?
Let's boil Poop Guy.
Poop guy.
Download it.
You probably got to download it, right? Holy smokes. I mean, we want to keep this tool free, right? But first, you see how this is pulsing now?
Pulsing? Jeez, man.
Oh, look at that. We got a different font. We want to do a nice big old title. Let's try that out. Damn.
Wow.
Look at how clean that is.
That is
But you know what'd be
nice.
cool is like if it was really wide and it kind of stretched across the whole field. Render that. Look at that.
You get the video, but is there a way to get just the text to like input on a screen?
Like embed it? No.
No.
I was gonna include a feature where you can
You can't get it as JPEGs?
where you can download these as JPEGs, but I feel like that's kind of giving out the actual. That'd be like if.
But like if I want to use this in my videos, not just as a title screen, if I want to have it like on top of something, like
I'm gonna show you in the tutorial how to do it. It downloads just as a white video, and there's a tool. There's a feature for adding this that will remove the white background easily.
oh, perfect.
So I'm gonna have a tutorial, but I didn't want to give away the actual JPEGs that are getting processed here. Like obviously somebody could go through and just screenshot them and use it, but just giving it away that easily, it's like that's kind of part of the product is my handwriting.
Nice, good stuff.
Yeah, pretty tough.
I like it.
So the first demo has the simple features and it can download the MP4. After adding my second font with some other cool effects, I thought about adding Stripe, but I realized people just simply aren't going to pay for this tool at all, to be honest. If I paywall a tool on my site, no one's ever going to use it because nobody's going to pay for it because nobody knows like what the actual program is until it has some credibility. So I just decided, scrap that, don't do Stripe. Even though still no one's going to pay, now at least people are actually using my tool, which makes it worth it, I think. I then worked on a few more fonts and realized how stupid I was to make my first font 500 pixels instead of a more reasonable 1000 pixel resolution, because now after finishing what feels like every possible punctuation, the punctuation looks really weird and skinny when it gets compressed to half its size to work with the 500 pixel version. Naturally, I had to murder that starter font, but not in vain, as I made a better looking version immediately after. I don't really know what I was thinking with this color palette on my website initially, but I wanted the site to look cleaner and something was off. So I first tried a neutral, calm, like apparently it was like a calm color palette from online, which looked way worse than the green. And then I realized the actual preview of the font and background is always going to be a simple black and white, and I might just want to have my site in grayscale. Fuck do you mean? We just jumped. It said it was $10. Look at this. This is so misleading. Word boil. Look at this. Cart overview. $10, dog. It is not $10. It's $60. How are they allowed to do that? That's fucking crazy. It's just complete cap. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, no, it is $10. I was on 3 years. All right, 1 year, $10. Let's do it. Word-boil. I switched over to Render and got my site live for free, although I was getting server errors for anything more than a single letter.
Bang, bang, bang. Let's go.
hype. Wait. Bang. Bang. That shit works. I'm finding on the memory metric that it's basically, I'm getting a lot of these like server errors. Server error. I don't know what's going on. So a couple little changes to try to make it a little more efficient. Deploying a cut in the frame rate, but also a cut, because I mean the frame rate isn't important if it's basically like frame by frame animation. And then I'm also reducing the amount of time that it's actually building the video in, which, I mean, you wouldn't want to actually use 3 seconds of this thing, I don't think, but it loops, so you can just copy paste. Like, you could just repeat it. I can make it 1 second, but then that would just, if somebody's not super technical, they might download that and say, why is this so short? All right, so after those changes, I've officially boiled 2 letters. So it's definitely a step up from the last time. Let me see if I can download it, though. There we go. All right, so I got those 2 down. Holy. All right. I've changed the MP4 length down to 2 seconds. People can just figure it out. You can figure out that it loops. It's really not that complicated. Server error. Damn, just on 9. 9 has just completely crashed the website, which is pretty unlucky. Okay, so 5 is the limit. So odd. 5 letters? All right, we're going for 11. Unfortunately, I did have to cut down the size. I scaled everything down 50%. My program was basically using around 200 to 220 megabytes to build all the graphics, and then on top of that, it also had to start rendering a movie with it already having used 220 megabytes, and it only has 520 total, and so it just wasn't working. But it doesn't actually use that much more memory to add more letters. I might just go all the way up to 40 and just see if it can do all 40, which was my initial limitation. So just added a bunch of nonsense. Let's see. I don't reckon it can do 40. It's cooking up. Oh, but it's using too much. You see at the bottom, it's using 327. Oh, wait, it cleaned up a little bit. We'll see. But if it goes too high, right as it gets to the actual rendering of the movie, it's just going to crash. See. Oh my god, it worked. Holy smokes. Okay, so all limitations are off. I've got my retainer in, so I've got a bit of a lisp, but it's been a few days since I uploaded my promotional short where I gave a little tutorial on how to use the tool. But I just set up Google Analytics, and it's kind of crazy. People are using the site. There's somebody out here in Bangkok using my site. Someone in this random Igulada. So I've already had 7 different users in the past 20 minutes. So people are fucking using it, which is dope. People are actually using this site that I made, this tool. Really cool. Real quick, I'm just gonna go, because I've got the time and I'm showing these time lapses, I figured it'd be interesting to hear my opinions on coding projects nowadays, because I honestly stopped doing personal coding projects for a long time. I used to enjoy coding a lot, but ever since AI overtook me in coding ability, it just felt less fun. I used to have so much fun doing all the problem solving and working on the architecture of coding, but I also mostly enjoyed making things come to life for my computer. And frankly, just completing the vision of what I want to make into reality. Like, I really also enjoyed the problem solving aspect of like, oh, how do I want this font to work? Or like in this scenario, it was really interesting to work with Claude on a more complicated font that I make in a second, because it was so integrated with my creative process that it couldn't do it on its own. And I just had to really explain the intricacies of how it should be building this font out and how I want the font to look with the files that I'm giving it, because it's not just intuitive for Claude to build this. Making stuff on my computer come to reality is what I love about video editing. Just seeing my ideas and making them real. I think that's what I forgot is still available in coding, but now to a new level. I can still be the artist, it's just that now everything moves really quickly on the back end. Still got to go through the troubleshooting of cross-platform integration, going from a local to a network host and making sure to optimize everything enough to still have a usable product. rather than initially when the site was crashing off just a single letter, processing that up to speed. All in all, this project took me around a week total, and I had a lot of fun making the fully finished product. That being said, I added more fonts later and continued working on little adjustments, but the bulk of the project was honestly finished in just a week. I'm going to try to start thinking bigger, but I'm glad when I thought of this idea, I just did it. I didn't overthink it, I just thought it would be cool, checked if it had already been done, and then got stuck in. I wasn't getting a ton of new users in the first week after my Instagram short got 1K views, but I'm planning on creating a new, unique font and advertising it on shorts as well. Not to toot my own horn, but I do kind of feel like this font is less of like a practical font that you might, like you'd make this font a paragraph. It's only good for like titles just because it's not that readable, but it's so cool and unique that I feel like it should be in like a font museum or something like that.